What if the way to stand out is not through better marketing, lower prices, and trust me, most people do not want to compete here, or even the next new offer? What if the way to stand out and fill your pipeline is something entirely different that most service based founders actually don't put a lot of effort and intention into building? What if I told you that there was a very specific strategy that would not only 10x your pipeline, but would actually save you from burning out, keep your clients around longer, and reduce your customer acquisition costs by 10% or more? Look, the key to building your business better and differentiating yourself in the market, plus creating more referrals, is a strategically designed client experience. And yes, marketing plays a key role here, but it's not the thing. It's only part of the thing. The truth is, SaaS companies already know this, e-com already knows this, and now it's service-based businesses' turn. You have to get crystal clear on the client experience that you want to create. You have to build out an intentional and well-mapped and well-documented client journey. And you have to start to track key metrics that tell you if your experience is successful in reaching your overall goals. Today, I'm going to break down why client experience matters, what it actually is, and how, even if you're a small business or a solopreneur, you can start designing yours in a very simple and sustainable way. For just a moment, I want you to think about software. If you download an app and it does not guide you smoothly through setup, you're going to delete it. If your Amazon order shows up late, you're going to be frustrated and maybe you're going to cancel the order, or you're going to give it a bad review, or next time you'll just shop somewhere else. These industries have spent years obsessing over client experience because they've already learned that it's not just about the features or the price or the deliverable. It's about how easy and enjoyable it is to be their customer that is ultimately going to make or break them. Historically, look, these markets have been much more crowded than service-based businesses, which required professional degrees and years of experience, plus access to capital and knowing how to build it. But long gone are those days. And now we don't just find ourselves competing with other entrepreneurs with years of experience. We're finding ourselves competing with people that learn on the fly and can charge much cheaper prices. So we have to change our approach. The thing that's going to set us apart from other service-based providers with the same deliverables or competitive prices are our relationships and how clients feel when they work with us. To understand how to be effective in creating this, we have to know who we serve and then build out our approach and our strategy in a way that serves them best, them, and only them. What client experience is the reason that some businesses charge double and stay fully booked out. It's the reasons that clients stay loyal, they refer you, and they rave about you online. And it's the reason that service businesses that intentionally design their client journey will start to get ahead of those that live in a reactive space and that are winging it or constantly lowering their price just to try and win a sale, any sale. It is also the reason that churn and CAC are going to stay high, and that's going to kill their margins. So, what exactly is client experience, or CX? A lot of people confuse this with customer service. Customer service is reactive. It answers questions. It fixes problems. CX is proactive. It is intentionally designed and it's focused on the entire journey that someone takes with your business, from that very first time that they hear about you all the way through the day the project is complete, or they outgrow your services, or they have to leave for some other reason. Client experience starts with a declaration of what you want to create, the development of a well-defined mission statement, and then by designing and assigning accountability throughout the entire client journey. But you have to start with that declaration. This is one of the $4 million destinations. And as I like to say, you can't map the journey if you don't know the destination. From here, we can fully build out the roadmap. There are 4 critical phases that we have to look at. That's pre-sales and sales. Look, what's the first impression when someone finds you online? This is when you should be getting all of your prospects excited to jump in and take this trip with you. You should be hyping up the transformation that you can create, and you should be highlighting why you're the best fit. But be careful here, because any missteps, even as small as posting pictures of you in designer suits and then showing up for your sales calls wearing a shirt with holes in it, can instantly create mistrust. Now we have the onboarding phase. Look, how easy is it for them to get started? Do they know exactly what to expect? This is when you're starting to pack the car, get ready to set out on that trip. If you kick things off with a half full and dirty car, oversized luggage that's not going to fit, and an outdated GPS, your trip is doomed from the get go. It is the same with your onboarding process. Get it clear, honed in, and designed for the exact person that you're working with, and create clear SOPs that you can easily repeat. Now we have the delivery phase. How consistent is your communication in your work? Are you proactive? Are you just constantly living in a reactive state, addressing what comes up in firefighting mode? When you're going on a long journey, you want the trip to go as seamlessly as possible. You want to know ahead of time if there are going to be rest stops and gas stations, if certain roads are closed, that your car can actually make it there. In addition, you want to know when you need to be at the final destination and what that timeline is going to look like to get there. Your clients are the same, and communicating a lot of this ahead of time, sticking to your agreed upon timeline, and doing what you say you'll do when you say you're going to do it is a huge part of building trust. Finally, we have offboarding and renewal. Do they feel like they've reached the finish line with clarity, or like you just dropped them? Do they know if you expect anything else from them? Have you asked for feedback so that you can seek out opportunities for improvement or share in their wins? Once you get to the end of your journey, you don't just turn around and come home. You don't send your travel buddy out there without saying goodbye and making sure that they're going to be okay. Don't do this to your clients either. And remember, look, your clients are super busy. So if you're project-based, the onus is really on you to make sure that you stay top of mind for them and let them know when you have new or different services to offer. If you provided value to them, then this is really your responsibility so that you can do it again in the future. Each of these stages has multiple touch points, and every single touch point is part of the overall client experience that you are creating. That's your website, social media, meetings, proposals, invoices, your whole back-end process design, how you or your team communicate. All of this adds up. Done well, it builds trust and ease. Done poorly, it creates friction, and then friction results in misalignment and price to value questions. And these result in churn, frustration, or even worse, that dreaded bad review that you have to overcome. So here's the shift that I see happening. Every single day, more and more entrants are entering an already crowded market. So you have to set yourself apart. Clients want to work with you, but in today's environment, they're not just buying the thing that you do. Today, they're actually buying the entire experience of working with you. Because let's face it, if you're a designer, a consultant, a coach, a bookkeeper, your client can Google 10 other people that are doing the same thing, or they can ask ChatGPT. It is no longer about just delivering a product. It's about how you show up for your clients and the things that are building loyalty. But it can't just happen reactively, and it cannot live in your head forever and ever. This is exactly what SaaS and e-commerce figured out years ago. Their retention rates, referrals, and revenue are all directly tied to client or customer experience. And as clients get more sophisticated, they're expecting that same seamless, intentional experience from their service providers too. And that moment that the friction does show up, that's the moment the first questions are going to start to come up for them. And that friction is what is going to cause them to either hit pause or leave. Now, the good news, there is a framework for all of this. At Veriscale, we've built a custom framework that we implement in phases based on where you're at in your business life cycle. But everyone, no matter what size, should start with defining their $1 million client experience and then clearly mapping out the client journey. This is going to allow you to develop out your systems, tools, and processes with greater intention, aligning it out to your back end, deciding what to automate, delegate, or to personalize to ensure that your client's entire time with you is seamless and as friction-free as possible. This helps create consistent accountability as you grow and your team grows, and it's going to create a much easier path to scale efficiently and effectively. Here's the simplest way to begin. First, define it. Write down what you want your client experience to be. If a client described working with you in 3 words, what would you want them to say? Next, map it out. Sketch out your client journey, the key steps from that first contact all the way through final delivery. Then, take a look at where you're currently doing versus what would create the actual experience that you said you wanted. Take a look at where you could more proactively design your experience that could reduce or eliminate firefighting. And finally, automate or delegate. Look at each step and ask, could this be automated with a tool like Calendly, Go High Level, or some sort of AI agent? Could a VA take this off my plate? Here's some examples of the shift from reactive to proactive and how to build these key items into your processes. You could do something like a simple automated welcome email with a Loom video explaining what happens next. And pro tip here, you can change out the names within just a few seconds to help it feel personalized in Loom. Once you get a VA, this is something that they can actually do for you. Something else could show up like a clear checklist or a portal for onboarding. Better yet, maybe set up the whole process in your project management software so that you could easily duplicate it. You could delegate weekly client updates to an assistant. Have them pull out all of those key items and to-dos from your AI-driven call software and send it to your client. If you have Fathom, you can actually even automate this entire process and connect it to Asana to have it go ahead and enter all of your to-dos for you. These little tweaks make your clients feel like they are always top of mind for you, which builds long-lasting partnerships. It creates the perception that you're fully dedicated to them. And in the eyes of your clients, perception is reality. And huge bonus here to you, it's also going to free up your time so that you can focus on what you do best and what's really going to move the needle on your business. Here's the bottom line. Client experience is not just a buzzword. It is the future of service-based businesses. SaaS and e-com, they already figured it out. Now it's our turn. If you want to scale sustainably, retain clients, and stop being stuck in the weeds, designing your client experience and monitoring your metrics is the way to move forward. So do not wait until you're overwhelmed or you're losing clients to start thinking about this. You have to start now. Even one intentional change can make a huge difference. All right. If you found this helpful, please hit that like button, join my school community to get access to free resources, and subscribe for more updates. Final thoughts here. The best marketing tool that you are ever going to have is a client experience worth talking about. All right, thanks, guys.